But let's just make room for everybody. And we're so glad that you're here in our Beit Midrash. Shabbat Shalom. We're on page 11. Poetic words from Song of Songs, a beautiful Israeli melody to get us started this Shabbat. Dodi Lee, page 11. Dodi Lee, va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi Lee, va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. V'zotolo min hamidbar, v'zotolo mekuteret mor, mor ulevona, mor ulevona. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Livavtini achoti kala, livavtini kala. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Uri tzafon uvoi teman. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim.
About 90 minutes ago, the sun slid behind the horizon, and that was the official beginning of Shabbat. But I know that for so many of us, Shabbat really begins when we gather here, we see one another, you join us from home or from wherever you are online, and that's when our Shabbat experience really commences. So we welcome you to take a moment from the daily routine to feel the gift of this holy time together as we experience one of the great gifts given to the Jewish people, the gift of Shabbat. We continue with the English reading on page 7. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Please join me. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days, the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace
on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide.
Part of our Shabbat celebration tomorrow morning, Skylar Mandel becomes a bat mitzvah, another blessing that we have at our beautiful synagogue. So Skylar, we're going to invite you and your family to join us for the lighting of Hadlekat Nerot, the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And may I ask that you all please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Enjoy.
You may be seated. We're on page 13, Psalm 96.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. איי 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 איי
Continue with Lechado D on page 20.
לך תודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך תודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך
Page 24. Tali and I were just talking about this melody. It sounds traditional, right? It maybe is familiar to you. I know it's familiar to this synagogue, but it's from actually 1918. So kind of new, if you think about it. Page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please rise for our call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיי
blessing that comes before Shema. There's a different version in the morning service than we have in the evening service, but it is a prayer that gives thanks to God for the gift of revelation, for the gift of Torah. And from our perspective as Jews, that is a sign of God's love. God loved the Jewish people so much that God gave us the gift of wisdom, the gift of learning, the gift of Torah. And it's so special in this room, our Beit Midrash, surrounded by so many of these texts that really point us towards that font of wisdom that gives our lives so much meaning. And tonight, before we say words of Shema Yisrael together, we have a special treat because we get to welcome someone into a life of Torah and into the Jewish people as a Bat Torah. And so it's an honor to invite Michelle Grappo to please come forward. Some of you have come to know Michelle over the last few months, even year or so. When did you first start coming for Torah study and that kind of thing?
Probably maybe 7 or 8 months ago.
8 months ago. Come a little closer. And I've been fortunate to know Michelle's family, and she's joined here by her mom and dad, Gary and Becky. Thank you so much. Michelle's father has been on my podcast a number of times. He happens to know a thing or two about a thing or two. And so I'm so glad you're here to celebrate this moment. Michelle, getting to know you has been such a pleasure, and having you join our Spirit of Shabbat on Shabbat mornings, be part of our Intro to Judaism class has been so wonderful. We're very excited to celebrate your becoming Jewish. We're also excited about your journey to Italy. On Saturday, you're going to go and live in Italy for a while. We hope you have a great time there, but then we want you to come back here and bring those gifts of Torah with you. And so I'm going to offer Amisha Baruch a special blessing of gratitude to you for casting your lot with the Jewish people. And I said this yesterday at your Beit Din when we celebrated this moment. This is not an obvious time for someone to choose to become Jewish. And so to say, hey, I want to be part of the Jewish people. I'm going to wear my Chai necklace. I'm going to take on a Jewish name, a Hebrew name. That's really special. And for those of you here with us and those joining from home, you might be feeling that same call. And if you are, please reach out to one of our clergy. Come up to Cantor, Rabbi, myself. Rabbi Yael Farber's here tonight, and she has been one of the people who helped with your intro class. So I'm going to offer this word of blessing. You've chosen the Hebrew name Esther, and it was so significant yesterday. You talked about Esther not just as a heroine of the Jewish people who saves us, but also feeling called for this moment. So I'm going to offer these words of blessing, but they're not just for me. They're from all of our clergy. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et Esther, bat Avraham Avinu v'Sarah imenu, bevo'a lehistapeach benachalat Yisrael, ulihimanot al gerei hatzedek betoch am Elohei Avraham v'Sarah. Yihi ritzono sheyatzliach bidarka, v'yir'eh bechol ma'aseh yadeha, v'nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Michelle, known as Esther, who has cast her lot with the people of Israel. She is a ger tzedek among the people of God, of the God of Abraham and Sarah. May she prosper in all her worthy endeavors. May the work of her hands be blessed. And together we say, Amen. Amen. And we're going to say words of Shema Yisrael together. So I'm going to invite you all to rise as I open the ark, and I'm going to place the Torah scroll in Michelle's arms. Michelle, come stand right here. And Cantor and I will join with you as we say words of Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov.
Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov. Yeilanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael,
Thank you, Michelle, for giving us the opportunity to celebrate that moment with you. We'll continue on page 40, Michamocha, our prayer of freedom, our prayer of liberation.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha pa'ilim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele malechutecha ra'u fanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe malechutecha ra'u fanecha bokei hayam lifnei Miriam Zezeli anu le'oberu Adonai himlo le'olam le'olam va'ed ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ונאמר כיפת אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Page 42, Hashkivenu, we ask God to spread over us, over all Israel, over the whole world, a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace.
השקיפנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו שומרנו לחיים.
We offer Misha Berach LeRifuah, a prayer for healing for all those in need of healing. You can find it on page 253. If you care to, you can say aloud the name of someone you're praying for. You'll notice if you're joining from home, the names of members of our community for whom we're praying. And you can also pray for yourself. If you're the one in need of a little healing of body, spirit, or soul, And we always encourage you after our services, sometime over this weekend, maybe reach out to that person that you were praying for and let them know. In synagogue the other night, I said a prayer for your well-being. I can guarantee you it's going to make them feel supported and loved. Let's take a moment to say prayers of healing for all those in need.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our Amidah on Friday evenings is traditionally said silently. It gives us an opportunity to speak the words of our heart directly to God, offer God prayers of gratitude for some of the blessings maybe we experienced in the last week. We can also offer some wishes for the time to come. So I'm going to invite you, please, to rise as you're able. Those of you joining from home, please stand along with your community here. Let's take a few moments for silent reflection, for gratitude, for praise, and for petition.
On your handout, a little contemporary prayer from our friend cantor Natalie Young. Thought these words would be fitting tonight. We hope they open the gates of your heart just as the words of the prayer book do. Holy, 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 Adonai of blessing above. Fill my heart with love, soft and strong, a voice from within, a song of peace in the wind. Holy, 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 holy. May the darkness within disappear, like the faith that you are near, like a mountain born from the sea, the spark of God within me. Holy, 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 holy.
Shabbat Shalom. My initial response to the proposed overseas trip was, how interesting. Where is it? And why would we go? To my discredit, I could not have located Azerbaijan on a map. More so, I knew almost nothing about the country. So why did we go? A little history is in order here. Just before the breakup of the Soviet Union, the modern Republic of Azerbaijan was created. It's bordered by the Caspian Sea on the east, Russia to the northwest is Georgia, Soviet Georgia. Almost directly to the west is Armenia, and to the south, with whom it shares an exceedingly long border, is a country officially called the Islamic Republic of Iran. If you value freedom, it's probably not the neighborhood you would choose. A former republic of the Soviet Union, Azerbaijan is now a first world oil-rich country. The capital city, Baku, has state-of-the-art museums, well-paved highways, restored old mansions which abut modern architecture, and those buildings surround the old city, which goes back to around the 12th century. I was among 9 rabbis and 2 spouses, including my wife, Beverly, who traveled as official guests of the government of Azerbaijan, and then on to Israel, where the foreign ministry arranged most of our meetings. We went as part of the Zionist Rabbinic Coalition, where I happily serve on the leadership team. Its relatively new organization, the ZRC as we call it, now represents a large and growing group of Reform and Conservative and Orthodox rabbis. We work to advocate commitment and dedication to Zionism in Israel. So here's why we went and why I think it's important. The relationship between Israel and Azerbaijan is distinct. It's a country which is 95% Muslim, Shia Muslim, mostly secular, and has the longest standing and most comprehensive partnership of Israel of any Muslim majority country in the world. For the last 30 years, Azerbaijan has been key to Israel's energy security, supplying some 40 to 60% of Israel's oil. And in 2024, during the war with Hamas and Hezbollah, when they were under pressure from Turkey and from Iran to stop producing and selling oil to Israel, and Israel vitally needed the energy, Azerbaijan increased its exports to Israel by 55%. It is noteworthy that when other moderate Muslim countries, like the four who signed the Abraham Accords, distanced themselves during the war, Azerbaijan intensified its relationship. In Israel, and I think it's fair to say, which can be at times a little politically divided, all major political factions agree on the unique importance of Azerbaijan. And while we rabbis were certainly in no way official dignitaries, the time that we were on this trip, we were treated with extraordinary respect. It felt as if it was a diplomatic mission. Our 5 days were filled with meetings and briefings and conversations. Among those, for example, whom we met was the National Security Advisor, Hikmet Hajiev, who was also perhaps the top advisor to the president of the country, Eliav. I had an opportunity to very respectfully ask him why, given Azerbaijan's support of Israel, when it comes to voting in the United Nations, they're not particularly supportive. He gave a thoughtful response. Time for another conversation. We also had a conversation very candidly with the Charge d'Affaires in Baku, and we met with and actually had dinner at the home of Ronan Krause, the Israeli ambassador to Azerbaijan. His wife made salmon and homemade cheesecake for the 11 of us. He reassured us that the acceptance we were witnessing of Jews was indeed genuine. There are two Jewish day schools, naturally, in Azerbaijan, a Sephardic and an Ashkenaz. We entered the classrooms. We met with the rabbis who oversee the schools. The schools are paid for by the government of Azerbaijan, as are all private schools. And in this regard, not only is Azerbaijan tolerant of Jews, they don't even like to use the word tolerant because it implies they are simply willing to tolerate the Jews. They like the word diversity because, and that term came up time after time, because it's a country where proudly the Jewish community has a role. From Azerbaijan, we flew to Israel. There are, I believe, and I tried to check this out, but I think it's right, 21 weekly flights between the two countries, and I think they're all nonstop. In Israel, we met with foreign ministry officials, members of the Knesset, the Israeli ambassador to Azerbaijan, defense experts, and those officially charged. So these are the government officials in charge of combating anti-Semitism and doing Israel's public relations. In addition, two very thoughtful women spoke to us, Melanie Phillips and Michal Kotler-Wunsch. They spoke about the continued global efforts, well organized and well funded, to intimidate Jews and to ostracize Israel. This is another battle, I must say, quite tragic, that Israel and the Jewish community around the world is facing, and it's a battle that we must join with them facing. Our visit to the Gaza envelope was chilling and in some ways unexpectedly inspiring. We visited the site of the Nova Music Festival and in silence walked the grounds surrounded by posters of the slain. The Israel Defense Forces provided us with a special escort, a very high-ranking general, that allowed us entrance to areas not available to the public. This included the Kerem Shalom crossing into Gaza, where Israel sends 600 trucks a day with food to Gaza. We witnessed it. The director of operations said in truth they only need about 100 trucks to fill the need. But of course, when the trucks enter Gaza, the United Nations is unfortunately not particularly helpful in distributing it, and Hamas often violently steals the goods. But for me, the most somber moment is when we were escorted into the Nahal Oz base. You may have read about the young women observers, Tzatzpitaniyot, whose job it was to closely monitor the screens, that anything going on in Gaza, it was their job to alert the IDF and the Israeli government. They saw suspicious movement, and their pleas apparently were seemingly brushed off on October 7th. We stood in the small, burned-out room that Hamas invaded, with the little remnants that are left of the computer monitors, where these brave women of the IDF, some murdered, others taken hostage, and others I won't go into it. Most of us stood silent and still in this room. And then a young woman soldier turned to our small delegation and shared her pride in being an Israeli and her passion for her country. None of us could stop a flow of tears. While only 2.5 days in Israel, most of my colleagues left that night to return to the States. The trip was officially over, but my wife and I had arranged to stay in Tel Aviv 5 more days. It was a little bit of a vacation, but we were there through Shabbat, where we saw family and friends. And in talking to them, and this is completely subjective, but we concluded Israel is scarred, Israel is moving back, and Israel is absolutely remarkable. This week we begin the reading of the book of Exodus. It is here that our people emerge. We are liberated from slavery and we begin our 40-year journey to the promised land. At that moment, as difficult as it must have been for our ancestors, they were given hope. The most valuable and overriding insight from this trip that I took is that a Muslim country and the Jewish nation can work together in partnership with shared interests and shared respect. As Stuart Weinblatt, the founder and extraordinary leader of the Zionist Rabbinic Coalition, wrote, Azerbaijan and Israel demonstrate that such a relationship is not only possible, it is already flourishing, benefiting both peoples in diplomacy, security, trade, culture, and education. This partnership offers hope for other Muslim-majority countries considering a different path, one of coexistence and cooperation with Israel. And yet, it is important to acknowledge that Azerbaijan is unique. While 95% Muslim, it is officially secular. That means there's a separation between religion and state. And there are other distinctions with other Muslim-majority countries. And still, when one is there, it is clear that the relationship between Azerbaijan and Israel is working to the benefit of both countries. Since the creation of the modern state of Israel in 1948, her leaders have proposed peace. Perhaps, just perhaps, those who target and vilify and try to harm Israel, if they would step back and decide it is not in their interest to destroy Israel, the moment that that happens and they reach out and begin a partnership, I would almost guarantee not only will it be better for Israel, it will be better for their country, their future, and their people. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Woznicka, for sharing your experience, and thank you for your leadership on the Zionist Rabbinic Cabinet. I'm glad to be a part of that beautiful organization. And it's not too late, but it's almost too late. If you want to join me on the March of the Living trip to Poland and Israel, we have over 30 people signed up, so we have room for a few more. That trip is coming up in April. And if you're interested in going, you can go to our trip ambassador, Ed Horowitz, right here. Ed, wave, because Ed's one of the folks who really helped get this thing off the ground. So thank you, Ed, and Lori and Jerry, and so grateful, Carol, to all of you for helping to get that going. But if you want to come and see some of these things firsthand, you can join us. We're going to offer a prayer for our nation. You can find that on page 258, and I'd invite you to please join with me and be inspired by these words to try to be the very best citizens and participants in the life of our nation that we can be. Bottom of page 258. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who've died in defense of our ideals. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
And a prayer for Medinat Yisrael, for the state of Israel, on page 259.
Avinu shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, Ba'arechem Medinat Yisrael, Reshit tzmichat geulatenu.
Join with me, please. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Let us say, Amen. We're going to continue with words of Kiddush on page 5. We always like to invite people to share something good going on in their lives, in addition to celebrating Skylar and Michelle on these milestones that they are celebrating. So Skylar, come on up. Michelle, you're welcome to come on up as well. We've got grape juice for you. And hey, that's great. Are there other people who have simcha to share? Maybe there's a special birthday. Maybe it's an anniversary. Maybe it's a new job. You just got pregnant and you want to tell everybody. What is it? Does anyone have something good to share? Nothing? No birthdays? What is it, Susan?
I forgot to give a shout out to Sheila Rosenberg when you were reciting Mishabeirah. She has been very sick. She cannot walk at the moment, and we all want her to get well.
A prayer of healing for Sheila. Thank you for saying that, Susan. And do we have a special event in your life? What's going on here? She
What's
just
up,
wants some-
Davis? He just wanted some grape juice.
You're welcome to it. Well, let's all stand and we'll celebrate with Michelle and Skylar and Davis, Cantor, Rabbi, Kiddush, page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishit ki hu yom techilo lemikrai kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikorbim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava ufratzon inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat l'chaim.
anyone under B'nai Mitzvah age want to come help us open the ark?
Yes, and Skylar, that's still
That's
you
still
till
you,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Come on up. Let's open the ark. Aleinu l'shabach, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. Page 289, a meditation before Mourner's Kaddish. The light of life is a finite flame, like the Shabbat candles. Life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. If you are in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise and say the person's name aloud. And if you're joining online, feel free to put the name in the chat. If this is the first year of mourning the loss of a loved one, please rise and say that person's name aloud. And if this is the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, please rise. You can share that name. And again, if you're joining from home, feel free to put the name in the chat. It's our custom to rise in solidarity with the mourners as we give thanks to God for the gift of life itself on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Huyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May God comfort all who mourn and all who are bereaved in Israel and among all the nations. And let us say together, Amen. Cantor, some words of gratitude. How about this amazing band?
The best.
Thank you so much for your beautiful, beautiful musicianship. Thanks to everybody who participated in our service this evening. Thank you, Skylar and Michelle, for letting us celebrate with you. Thank you, Rabbi, for your beautiful and important words. Cantor, for your leadership. I mentioned Rabbi Yael Farber, who's here, and we have our Bayit community of people who've married recently, so thank you, Rabbi Farber, for pulling that together. And to our amazing crew who worked so hard to make it possible for us to enjoy this beautiful service here in our Beit Midrash on our Aaron Milken Center campus, but also for people who are streaming in from literally all over the world, maybe even as far away as
Azerbaijan.
could be. You never know. We should check and see. The time change is probably not great, but who knows? So, Tomas, thank you for your help. Brendan, EJ, Roz, Karen, Noel, we really are appreciative of each and every one of you. We have a special concluding song that's going to celebrate our Sephardic Ladino heritage.
Absolutely.
It's really beautiful, and you can find it on page 327. Do you have anything to share about this beautiful,
Let's start
it's a nice melody.
Let's start this year off right. The other new year.
That's
We
right.
have 4 of our own, but why not take an extra? Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemakenu, ein Kemoshienu. Non como vuestro Dios, non como vuestro Señor, non como vuestro Rey, non como vuestro Salvador. Now you got it, okay? See if you can make it. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Kemakenu, mi Kemoshienu. Non como vuestro Dios, quien como vuestro Señor, quien como vuestro Rey, quien como vuestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Emakenu, no del Moshienu. Lo remos a vuestro Dios, lo vemos a vuestro Señor, lo remos a vuestro Rey, lo remos a vuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Bendito vuestro Dios, bendito vuestro Señor, bendito vuestro Rey, bendito vuestro Salvador. You got this one. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.